recording?
We are recording.
Oh, we're recording. So let's stare at the camera.
Let's go, Logan.
Let's go, Logan. Let's go.
No.
Got a double clap in there. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I'm one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm another one of your hosts, Warwick Price.
And I'm yet another host, Lon Black.
The triple threat,
Comes
baby.
every week.
We don't even know who he is. He just shows up here.
I'm not sure I know either.
So today's movie that we're going to be reviewing is Red Riding Hood.
Hey.
In our continuing
I was
saga,
clearing my throat.
Okay.
Sorry.
our continuing search for good horror movies based on children's stories.
Yeah.
Ooh, you made that rhyme.
Thank you.
You're a poet and didn't know it.
I knew it.
Anyway, so what else do we do? For anyone
pair
who's never
a
watched us before.
bourbon or whiskey or any liquor. Unfortunately, we even did a
Or liqueur. Yeah.
in the Winnie the Pooh episode.
You thought it tasted
With
like
the
it.
movie. This one I'm very excited about.
Ooh.
I'm very excited about it. We don't get to do good bourbons a lot of times. So, if you saw the last episode with Winnie the Pooh, I had to bring out a Scotch, a Glenmorangie.
Just to clear the palate.
Just because I couldn't. I knew the whiskey, or the
Couldn't do it.
liqueur was going to be bad and sweet and sugary. And it was. Had to have a palate cleanser. Some good Scotch. But this time I'm very excited about
While
it.
he's doing that, if you have any suggestions, on movies that you'd like us to watch, if you have movies and alcohol pairings, let us know. If you have just alcohol pairings, or you just want us to drink something, or if you're willing to give us a bottle, for any vendors out there that are looking.
Yes.
You'd like to.
We'll try it. We'll give you our honest review.
It.
Ideally,
Honest
if
review.
you're giving us a bottle, it has to be unopened.
Yes, please.
Ideally. We're not quite at the point where we're that desperate to try a bottle that's
Unless it's
has
pappy.
been open.
If
Unless
it's
it's
pappy, if it's pappy and it's open,
Just
and
give
even if
me-
it's half full,
Give me a little drip at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'll take your dregs.
Oh God.
Okay, so the bourbon we're pairing today with the movie we're doing, of course, as we said,
Red Riding Hood.
Red Riding Hood,
Oh boy.
which of course had
Red.
the big bad
Oh,
wolf.
Big Bad Wolf.
Ooh. Okay.
We have a bourbon called Wolf Point.
Oh, look at this.
Wolf Point
That looks super fancy.
is made
logo.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
There is a Wolf Point, Chicago.
No shit.
Wolf Point was named, and they explicitly talk about this on the website, is that there's actually 3 versions of how Wolf Point, Chicago got its name.
Okay.
And it's just outside of the original Fort Dearborn borders. If anybody's from Chicago, we're outside of Chicago. So we know about Chicago. If you know about Chicago and you know what I'm talking about when I say Fort Dearborn, the old location for Fort Dearborn, the location next to that was called Wolf Point. They're saying that this part of Wolf, or according to this one, there's 3 versions. This version, they're saying that an Indian chief named it after Wolf Point because of the region and the wolves that were in it.
Okay.
And as we all know, Chicago got its name from the old Indian word for...
Chicago.
Chicks.
You guys don't
Chicks
know the
ago.
story,
Chicks
how
ago?
Chicago got its name.
Do tell.
Chicago was named after the Indian word for onion field. This used to be...
That explains the smell.
Most of Chicago was all onion fields.
See my playground.
Wild onion fields, and they called it Chicago. Indian Chicago.
Are
So
you making this up?
No, I swear. Really? So they named it Chicago based on
there
the
you go.
Indian word for onion field.
Wow.
So this other area near Fort Dearborn was known for. They named it after the wolf, and it was a wolf god. No, I shouldn't say god. That's not what they called it. But who was the protector of the flame? So if you look on here on the bottle, they actually have the picture of the wolf next to the fire.
Fine,
Okay.
absolutely.
Right, which is what it is. Now, here's the other unique part and why I'm really terribly excited about this bourbon.
Okay.
Is this bottle
So are
is
they.
from a single barrel.
Ooh.
They
Wow.
do an entire batch per barrel. One barrel, one batch. So the next barrel may not taste much like this one.
Interesting.
The next batch may be a different batch. So they number it right here. This is barrel number 194. And they hand number it, you can see. So I'm very excited. This is literally straight from the barrel.
Is Chicago known for their bourbon?
It is not necessarily a
So
bourbon
was the Chicago
mecca,
water used for that?
but
Is it going to have a hint of onion?
it is just off of the Chicago River. But I'm hoping to God they got the fresher, they purify it or something. But the
Hey,
point
there's things
is,
floating in it. No, I'm just kidding.
the point is, this is supposed to be a very. This was a high-end bourbon. We talked about the price of the other bourbon, right? We won't talk about this until you try it, of course.
Okay.
Okay.
So I shouldn't spill this one, is what you're telling me?
Take a look at that. Take a look at that label, and you can see the story is on the edge of the thing. They talk about the story of why allegedly the region that this distillery is in was
Sharing
called Wolf
history.
Point.
Through spirits.
Aw.
Yep, they make a lot of other. It's a
That could be-
distillery
that
that
could be a
makes
double
gin
meaning, right?
and
Spirits.
vodka.
Maybe was that a wolf spirit?
Oh, the spirit. That's it. Wolf spirit. I
you
was
go.
saying God, but it was spirit.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's. Thank you. The protector of the flame, as
That's
it were.
interesting.
Yep.
It's-
Get a good
it's a
gander
re-
at that
it's
label.
I like the label.
I'm a big
Read, do me a favor. Anybody who's got their glasses, read on
Yeah, I
the
was just saying, I'm gonna put my cheaters on.
read the story on the side.
Okay, let's see. There's
It says
theories.
theory one.
Theory one. You want theory one?
That's the
All
only one they give on this bottle.
Okay.
So here's something else. There's 3 theories to the name. There's a different brand of bottle. They have a blended bourbon that they put the second theory on.
Interesting. Okay.
So they put the
Good-
first
good
theory on
marketing
this one.
ploy.
That's a great way to get all the bottles.
All right, here we go. Theory one. Settlers claimed the name arose from a Potawatomi chief from the area named Mowaway, which means wolf. The Potawatomi were known as the keepers of the sacred fire due to their designated duty within their tribal alliance. After migrating,
duty.
Did say duty.
After migrating from Wisconsin, so they came up from up north.
The Indians.
Yes. In the 1690s, they used the strategic position of Wolf Point, as a fur trading post with the French at the time. The untamed region was flush with wild onion, which the Potawatomi called, I gotta make sure I get this, Chigagosh.
Chicago.
Oh, there's an SH
Chicago.
though. There's an SH.
Yeah,
Chicago.
okay.
But say it quick.
Is
Say
it
it
silent?
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
Is really what
Khan.
it's
Let's get it right.
Chuck.
They knew.
Chuck
I
Khan.
feel for you. But yeah, it's Chicago. There's an SH. So gosh.
Great. Pronounce that SH proudly.
Maybe it's cool.
You-
Maybe the S is silent.
Your Indian background, I'm sure.
Yes,
Is,
I've got tons of it.
so they even talk about the Chicago part in there. How
Yeah,
about that?
that's I to be honest, this is one of the sexier looking bottles that we've
So
had on
another piece of history on this one, by the way, is allegedly the Wolf Point region was the first bar, the first trading post, the first restaurant, and the first hotel in the area, in Chicagoland area.
Wow.
Before it was Chicagoland, of course.
Sharing history through spirits.
I'm excited because
to
it's
be honest,
a
that's
single barrel.
one of the sexiest bottles I've seen in a while.
A
so.
single barrel.
Yeah.
I'm terribly
Are you going to be
excited.
upset if it's like tastes like water?
I
piss?
am.
Okay.
I am going to be upset, but
I don't know why I said water piss, but piss water.
it's just.
Oh wait, let's
I'm
get the
so-
thump. Here he comes. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Never seen a man orgasm from smell.
That wasn't an orgasm.
Uh-oh.
That was slight shock and dismay.
Oh
It's a
no.
little bit vinegary.
Little funky.
Whoa, wait, yeah.
Little funky on the nose.
Yeah, but I don't trust getting it right from the
Yeah,
bottle.
I
I'm a
agree.
fan of once it's in the
We do it mainly because it's a mainstay, and that's
yeah
kind of what we do.
Well, you
but-
gotta see the difference, right? You know.
right. And the thing is, because this opens it up, breathes a little bit. I don't know if that's necessarily a thing that Scotch or
Yeah, should we be
whiskeys have
like?
to
Do you decanter a whiskey? Are you
I-
supposed to?
I don't like decantering.
Okay.
I have
I know you do it
decanters.
for wines, but
I have decanters, but they evaporate. Because it's not a proper
The liquid,
seal
not-
on it.
the liquid,
The
not the-
liquid.
not the-
I
not the
was gonna say,
decanter.
what kind
The
of
liquid
decanters you got
evaporates.
there?
It's made of sugar, pure
Which
sugar.
was decanter. There we go.
Don't take it outside in the rain. All right, here we go.
You know what I don't know
Uh-oh.
is how old this is, how long it's been aged.
Oh. They're like since 1690.
There's the theories.
Because it is funny because it's like out of the bottle,
It smells better, I think.
it smells better, but like I don't have a lot of
Yeah, it's not
There's not a lot of-
potent.
yeah. Flavor. It's not
Minimum
be
of
good.
4 years. Minimum
Okay.
of 4 years aged.
And it's not blended, so we know that it's...
It is not. It's
So it's
single
when they say minimum
barrel.
4 years.
It's not even small batch where they take a group of 10 barrels or 20 barrels and make it. It's one barrel.
And how many bottles do they make from that barrel?
Well, I don't know.
That can
Typically,
vary.
I believe it's something like you can get about 32 bottles per keg.
Because it's 50
Okay.
gallons in the keg, isn't it?
It depends. There's different size barrels.
Yeah, I guess it depends on... Yeah.
So, because I've
And this
got
is
one
what,
at
is
the
this
house.
750?
This is
milliliters?
750 milliliter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look,
But
I'm
anyway,
trying to
so
pretend like I
let's,
know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, we're drinking?
it's
We're
not a super awesome smell.
It's okay.
Rate it, is this your first show? Have you not done these shows before?
No, this is my first time.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Take a couple of sips.
Yeah, I might need another sip on that one.
You know what?
I'm gonna rate it first, and then I'll maybe if I need to change it, I'll.
I will say, I think the sugary whiskey, whatever that shit was before that we drank, is gone.
Okay.
But it takes a couple sips to get into it. It takes a couple, not to get into it to like it or hate it. It takes a couple
To
sips
understand it.
to understand it.
That's how I am.
It's
I'm-
not a single
But
sip.
I do like
whiskey.
I do like to rate it based on my first sip because that's usually that you get
Yeah,
all of
but
the notes at that point, right? Like
I somewhat disagree with that. I
Okay.
think the problem with that is you've also got whatever's left in your mouth
Right.
before that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like this clears the palate the first time. And then with a lot of whiskeys, the more you drink it, the more you understand it. I really
Yeah.
like the way you
Yeah,
put
yeah.
that, the more you understand it. Because then you can start to identify more notes and more flavors and more fullness and more roundness as it goes.
Is that something more like you're hitting different points of your tongue then at that point, or is it that
I think
you've already
you've
figured
cleaned out
parts-
everything. You've
Yeah.
got the first palate.
Okay.
You've got the front of your palatation. Then you get the back of your palate.
Okay.
And then you got the burn going down, or then you get back
Yeah.
to your throat. So it's got levels to it, right?
Honestly, though, the smell, I don't.
Yeah, it's-
which I kind of like that. I don't want the smell to overpower it, right? Like I know you guys probably don't agree with that, but I feel like
Well,
that you need to have. If it's too overpowering, you already kind of know what you're getting into before you get in.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's like certainly for the wild turkey one that we did for Pooh, that was part of my problem. It was like immediately because I hated the smell, I was already turned off to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. As soon as I smelled it, I was out. And I knew I had to still drink some of it, but I only did it for you, Logan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Love you too.
bastard. I will say, go 3 sips into it minimum before you rate it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm about like 10 sips in.
Those of us who aren't alcoholics.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. There's
I thought
nobody
we
here
were
to say
shooting
that
these. What are
fits
you
that.
talking about?
Okay.
Ah, duh.
This is gonna
Yeah,
be
I think
a
I'm
little
going to
tough.
I think I'm going to stick with mine.
This is going to be a
Got
little
it.
tough.
Okay. Oh boy. Are we all ready?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So dead air.
Do,
dead air.
do,
Yeah.
do,
This,
do,
this
do,
is
do.
difficult. This is. I don't know why it's so difficult. I understand. You know what? I don't fully understand it, but I got a good idea of it. Okay.
Dun,
All right. I'm gonna
dun,
stick with this.
dun.
I
Are you
shouldn't.
doing like the
Yeah.
switching
I
between
think that's a
because
great
it's
idea
like
to do that every
in
once
Yeah.
in a while.
Jeopardy when they we
I-
should
I-
have 3
oh, you
separate
didn't even-
cameras.
you-
I'm sorry,
I-
go back.
I love that. We got to do more of that. We got to just occasionally.
Yeah, just
Hit that
every once in a while, be
Not
like,
like this.
Everyone. Not that. No.
That
No.
would be really nice.
yeah. People are gonna go. We got to put like seizure warnings at the beginning of
Yeah.
it.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, go.
Bam. Yes.
3. What did you get?
So
Warwick? I can't
Logan
see
gave it a
Warwick.
3.
There you
Warwick
go.
gave it a 2.3,
2
And
I
gave it a 3.2.
and Juan gave it a
Okay.
3.2.
All right.
Okay.
So-
Warwick, you didn't like it.
I didn't.
I shouldn't say you didn't like it. You
I didn't.
Tell us what you.
You
your
liked it the
take
least
was
of
on
the
it.
three
I
of us.
liked it the least.
Yes. Why?
Um,
Help me out.
I don't know. I just like number one. I like something that has at least a little bit more of a
Nose.
nose to it,
Okay.
and a nose that's pleasant.
Mhm.
This is not an unpleasant smells.
It's
just not
you can
strong?
say it's got a bit of a funk. It's got a bit of a
It's
funk.
funk?
That's
You
not
smell-
always bad, but I'd say a little
I
bit of
don't think
funk.
it's funk. I don't really smell
It's
anything.
not- yeah, but I think that
It is pretty
Go,
light.
I'll let you keep going, but
It's not unpleasant going down. I know. This is not something that I would go, oh my god, yes. How can I put this? It's if you were at your bar and you were pouring this, I would absolutely drink it all night. But if you then said, hey, do you want to try something else? I'm like, yeah, sure. Can we try something else?
Okay.
So-
Okay. All right.
so I was quite the fan of it.
I am too. What did you give it? A 3?
3.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.
I give it a 3 because, to be honest, to me, there are some things that I want to have a good nose to it, and I've got the schnoz for it. But the if it's too much that I smell it ahead of time, sort of like the honey one, the previous one, the wild turkey honey. It had a funky smell to it, but when I tasted it, it was different, and it threw me off, which I think was probably different from what you guys had. It just completely turned you off. But I prefer something like this where it's not a potent... You can smell something, but it's not as potent as some of the other ones that we've had. And I guess if you don't know what you're getting into, then it could be a little shocking because you're like, well, do I like it? I feel like this is something that this kind of grows on you, I think.
That's where I'd go with that. Is this grows on you? The more I'm drinking it, the more I like
Exactly.
it.
That first, you get an initial burn though. Did you get
do.
the initial burn?
Yeah, and you still get a little bit of that burn.
Yeah,
a
but it's
couple
not as
drinks
bad
into
as
it,
that
so-
initial
no, of
one.
course
That first
not,
one, I
of
was
course
like,
not. But again, that's kind of washing your mouth. Kind of cleansing your palate with it.
Yep.
It has. They describe it as notes of vanilla, brown sugar, and oak, and I agree with all 3 of those. Brown sugar, but in a subtle way. Not half of it is sugar.
How come you taste
not
so
a
good
liqueur.
now?
But I also get a little taste of honey. I do get a little taste of.
But that's the brown sugar.
Okay, so we'll go with that. But still, I can still describe it as honey, which means
Sure.
it's a little bit variant from brown sugar, right? And also, I get a little bit of oatmeal, and I get a little bit. Oh, I do. I get a little bit more of a cereal grain in there, and I get corn.
I agree with the corn.
I can see the corn.
I get more
Which
of that
would probably
corn
add to
mash.
the sweetness then, right?
Yes.
It would, but I mean specifically, it tastes like roast corn. There was a whiskey that I got. Warwick knows about this one. I made him taste it several times. When I went to
Whiskey, right?
He made me.
yeah.
Made me.
All I have to do is say, "You want some whiskey?" Yes.
Yeah.
But
Then he hands you the
it was
Elias.
called Pickney Bend, and Pickney Bend is a little place out in Herman, Missouri, or near Herman, Missouri. It's not in Herman, but it's a great little place, tiny little distillery. I bought a barrel from them there, and they had a rested whiskey, which means it's 6 months rested. Certainly not years.
What does rested
They
mean?
can't
Just
not aged very long.
Yeah.
Okay.
They literally just rest it,
They don't sleep
and they
it.
go, okay, now you're ready.
6 months versus 4 years.
Okay.
Okay. So what that is, and when you distill whiskeys or any liquor, when you distill, there's the head, the body, and the tail. And the head is the stuff you can't drink that'll make you go blind.
Okay.
The body is what you want, and then the tail starts to get to the burnt of the mash, right? So the burning of the mash, when it starts to get near the end of the batch, when it's starting to, there's no more alcohol left in there and stuff like that, you start to taste the corn or whatever your mash is. If it's barley, if it's corn, if it's rye, whatever it is, that's going to be a really strong note. So technically, you just want the body,
Sure.
right? There's some places like Pickney Bend out in Missouri that add a little bit more of that tail in there because it's a rested whiskey. But it's like when you drink it, you get a leftover taste of eating roasted corn. And I love that.
Okay.
I loved it.
But it's intentional, or was that something
It's
they kind of stumbled
intentional.
upon?
No, it's
Okay.
intentional because they were new. They didn't want to wait 6 years or whatever to get a good bourbon out of there. I mean, now they're, I'm sure, probably getting the bourbons out there, but they were pretty new then. So they wanted to get their product out there as soon as possible. So what they do is they add a little bit more tail into it to get a little bit more flavor profile out of it, which in this case was corn. And it worked. I think it worked. I liked Pickney Bend.
Yeah, it's good from
It's
what I remember.
it's very strong. It's very hot.
So you're
'cause
saying
it's not
head is
rested-
not. You're
rested.
saying head is not good for you.
Let me rephrase that.
Not for you.
Sorry.
The head of the
okay,
distillation
okay.
process.
Jeez. I was gonna say.
Okay.
Wow.
But I will say, the more I drink this, the more I get that hint of tail. I get that hint of corn, which I like.
Okay.
And but it's aged, so this is smoother than Pickney Bend for
But
sure.
now, if you went and bought
But I'm
another bottle,
digging
you
it.
said that it would be
It
probably
would
different.
Be different if it was from a different,
different
if it were a different
batch.
barrel.
Yeah.
So this
As
is
long-
barrel
yeah.
194. If
So
I got
you know what to look
196,
for, right?
Right.
Okay.
But I'd be willing to try some of the other barrels.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reality, I doubt very much that they only produce. And I was like, when they're doing the process of creating the whiskey, are they really saying, I'm creating this one barrel, then I'm stopping for the day and I'm moving on to something
Oh,
else?
absolutely
and-
not. No, no, no.
Right. It's all like multiple barrels are being filled at the same time.
Of course, but that's totally different thing. So what you got is you've got your recipe, which is the corn mash that you ferment and it's ready for distillation, right? And then you cook it down and you distill it into all the different barrels. So it's already liquor when it goes in the barrels.
Yep.
Technically a corn vodka.
Well, it
if you
becomes
want- if you
it
will.
becomes a liquor after the yeast has done its duty, right?
Correct. Right. Yeast eats sugar and poops out liquor.
Okay.
Basically.
So that's my question: is do they test it along the way?
Yes, you have to.
And then they say, "Get this out now," or "We're
Yes.
done now."
Yes,
Like,
you
okay,
have to. That's
okay.
part of the process.
And
right?
so then, and then I'm assuming they document that. So then they say it was 2 hours that we let this cook.
I don't know
or,
if it gets that tight,
Okay.
but still.
I'm sure the master distillers are probably like,
So
yeah,
there's-
now.
There's
but
there's a float there's a little float that tells you the alcohol content of whatever you've got, and a lot of people can do it by just shaking the bottle and tell from the bubbles and how long the bubbles take
Jesus
to
Christ.
dissipate to tell what the proof is. I ain't that good, but there's I do distill my own whiskey. I have made my own mash before, so the little bobber that goes up and down tells you what the liquor, the alcohol content is.
Right.
But when you make the mash, the liquor comes out of it, so you don't want all that mash, right? You pour that all off and strain it so you don't get any of the chunks that'll burn off the bottom. You just got the liquid in there. And then you cook that liquid down, the steam that comes up through the flute goes through the cooling coils and drips out the end is the liquor.
Actual, okay.
Right? And that's where you have to get rid of the head, because the first stuff that comes off is the poison, basically. And then you got to wait for that head. You know by tasting it. You know by going through and you taste it. And I remember at Pickney Bend, that's exactly what they do. Everybody would be walking by the distillery when they swipe a finger. Nope, not ready yet. Walking by 10 minutes, like, nope, not yet, ready yet. Next morning they come in, hey, it's ready. Everybody come taste it. Yeah, it's ready. Let's go. Let's put it in a barrel. The barrel is what makes the big difference of the smoothness, the oak flavors, the color. If
And
it's
that's
a
again
straight
the
bourbon,
staves. Yeah,
and the staves
if
that
they're
are
putting
in it,
any.
if they had staves.
Right.
It's staves technically are what the barrel's made of too.
Right,
so
right.
and it's a charred barrel, and it's got to be an oak barrel, and it's not a used barrel. It's got to be a virgin oak barrel that they char. So the whole process of aging and how long you age it and the seasons it goes through and how extreme those seasons are. How extreme cold it gets to warm it gets to cold it gets to warm it gets.
because these
So
things
it
are
gets-
in the elements. They're not in
No,
a
they've got-
climate controlled.
No, they got them in a warehouse, but they're not climate controlled warehouses.
Okay.
In fact,
Because
a
I
lot
thought
of
there was
distilleries-
I remember seeing some article where there was one of the distilleries lost like some, what is it, like 10,000 barrels
'Cause
because
it
the whole
collapsed.
thing collapsed. or
Yeah,
some
I saw
shit.
that.
It's
I think
like,
that was
Jesus Christ.
Maker's Mark.
It may have been,
But
yeah.
I mean, normally, that's the whole thing. They're in like cellars, right? I mean, they're in.
Not on the ground. They're in buildings above ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
In fact, what they do is they have elaborate, the bigger places.
Because
anyway,
this stuff's not as
elaborate
sensitive to
systems.
sunlight, right?
No,
Because
they
you're
keep it
in
out
the.
of they keep it out of the sunlight. They do
Yeah,
keep it out of the
okay.
sunlight. They keep it in enclosed barrels. But in a warehouse that's 30, 40 feet tall, the top of that warehouse is a lot hotter in the
Yep.
summer than the bottom of that warehouse.
But is that intentional? like, do
They
they?
rotate the barrels. So every few months they switch them. So where the top one comes down to this, and the bottom goes to the top, and then they
Okay.
shift it down, and the bottom goes to the top, and they keep
Is,
shifting down.
what my question is the mash done then?
The mash has
After-
been done before it goes in the barrel. When it
So
gets
I'm just saying,
distilled,
though,
it's
that's
done.
never used ever again. That's just
No,
done and over
because
with.
yeah, right.
It's, okay,
Once you
because
cook
it's had
down
its
the
it
mash, you
served
dump
its
it.
purpose. It's
Absolutely
gone.
correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. Once you cook it down and you evaporate,
Or they
the
hand that
steam
off
comes
to the
up and-
Elias or whatever.
You know what? I have seen people who make bread out of that.
Really?
They
Okay.
take what's left of the mash and make a bread out of it. I would like to try that.
That would be
sometime.
potent.
I'd like to
Yes.
make my own sometime. But
Sorry.
We're 24 minutes in.
I was gonna say, Jesus, we
Wow.
went off on a tangent
Yeah,
on there,
but this was good.
It was
Listen.
it was interesting and
listen,
very
Wolf
learned.
Hollow, Wolf Point.
Wolf Point.
Oh, contact us. I like you.
I like
I'd
it.
like to. I'd like to sample some more.
We
of
don't
yours.
worry about this guy.
I want
Yeah,
to taste your blended. I want to taste your gins.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Well,
Maybe
you
190
didn't
was
hate
it?
I didn't
190.
hate it.
Maybe 194 wasn't good for him. Try 196. We'll see.
No, I mean, and as
Give
I
me
said,
barrel one. I wanna try barrel
I
one.
stick with my rating, but I also stick with my statement of the fact that it's like I think I could happily drink this all night.
Yeah.
I just, to me, there's nothing.
This is actually, I'm a fan.
I'm getting more and more into it.
Yeah.
I get that corn more and more.
Maybe I will as well.
I'm not getting corn as much.
See, I get
Which is
more and
good.
more corn.
Because it's funny because it's like some of the other ones that we've drank, the more some of the other ones that we've drank that we've rated lower, as I've drunk more, like this horrible honey one, I've hated it more.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like-
right.
But
and
that's
this
not
is
how
going
you
the
feel with
opposite
this
direction.
one, or?
This is going. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
definitely going the
Okay.
other
I get you.
direction.
So give it time. Give it
I
time.
get you. I get you. All right. Well, I
So-
mean, honestly, this was one I did want to spend a lot of time talking about.
Yeah.
Because I was really excited because they're in Chicago. We're in Chicago.
We are in Chicago.
We are
I'm sorry.
sexy
We're
bitches.
in Chicago.
Shakagash.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yes, there's an SH.
So I'm glad we got to try this one. I'm really
Okay.
excited about it.
Absolutely.
So let's. Okay, we've got a movie
Anybody else
that
want
we're
to
going to discuss as well.
Topping it
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I'll have some more.
See?
Yeah.
Look at you go.
See?
Let my rating
Look
go
at
up.
you go. Yeah.
Let my rating
Would
go.
you like some more there, Logan?
I will.
Oh, let me just brush past Warwick's nipples. And
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Purposely. You got to go. Ow! As you pour. All right.
Red Riding Hood.
What year was this released?
This was released in 2011.
Okay.
Directed by Catherine Hardwicke
Okay.
of Twilight fame.
Of Twilight
Fuck's
fame.
sake.
Go
That
ahead,
makes
sorry.
so much more sense.
You
Anyway, go
didn't
ahead.
Oh yeah. You could tell going through this movie. This was a fucking
what-
Twilight movie. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. No.
We gotta rate it. We
yeah,
gotta rate it.
Oh, yeah, we gotta
and
rate.
that's the whole thing. Before we
Okay.
go too far.
Okay.
Okay, I need to
I'm ready.
I only have a single card.
Same here.
Oh, I'm a single card. Wow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the 5 as
It
you saw.
wasn't the 5.
Ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3, go.
It was a 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3.
What?
Logan?
That was unintentional, but
Logan?
Logan gave it a 1.
Okay.
Warwick gave it a 2.
And Lon gave it a 3.
What the fuck?
I
We
will-
got to start off with.
I will say, I was the only reason it didn't get a 1 for me was
Yeah.
Amanda Seyfried.
Oh
No.
yeah, that's
Even that's,
that's
like,
part of why I
it's-
got a 3. That's definitely the best part about this movie.
I want to hear.
Absolutely.
I want to hear
Absolutely.
Lon's reasoning behind the 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think 3 is a little
Okay.
shocking to me.
Yeah,
So,
that's like.
First of all,
shocker.
I was being a bit generous, based on
No.
the fact
I think that's the alcohol.
based on
talking.
the fact it had Gary Oldman,
Yes,
Yes.
it had Amanda, it had I think that was the only people I recognized.
Billy Burke. You've seen
Yeah,
him.
but
in
I
other
don't care
things,
about
but-
him.
You missed the most important character, Colonel Sol Tai.
Is that a British thing?
What?
No, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
Wait,
that's the
which
character
one?
you played in Battlestar Galactica.
Wait, which one was he?
You're too young for that
He
one.
was the dad. Michael Hogan, the Reeve is his character. He was like the older guy that killed the fox.
Yeah.
Oh, fox!
Yeah,
Oh my god!
the-
the wolf.
The wolf at
Yeah.
the beginning.
Holy shit! I did not put that together.
That's
Yeah.
Colonel
God, I haven't seen
And-
Battlestar Galactica in like.
Love that movie.
And actually, the guy, the head soldier, was somebody. He was in a bunch of movies too. I should look.
Oh,
him
you looked that up.
up.
But yes,
so-
A lot
Gary,
more
Gary,
recent
Oldman,
movies.
Gary Oldman was awesome.
Yes.
But
Luke Haas was in it too.
Yes.
Luke Haas was
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
freaky guy.
Yes.
But I thought Gary Oldman is just one of these guys who I think is amazing.
Yes.
Amazing in almost every single movie. But he plays this character, in my mind, way too often.
Agreed. I
Yeah.
think
Like
that,
the asshole guy that comes
Yeah,
in.
but-
This
that's
was like
what he's
this
good
was
at.
probably the
That's-
great grandfather of the guy from The Professional, right?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
this guy. Do you guys recognize him?
Yeah.
So
What is he
he's
from? He looks familiar.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things, but he's been. let's see.
He's in a lot of Canadian
we
stuff.
should probably tell the
Cabin
people
in the
who-
Woods.
What was his name?
He was in Cabin in the Woods.
what
He
the-
was one of the security guys in
No
Cabin in the Woods.
kidding. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Elysium,
What was his actual name though, so we can let the
His,
people.
his
in the
real
audience
name is
know?
Adrian,
Adrian Holmes.
Yes, let my people
Not
know.
John Holmes. Adrian. Holmes.
Adrian Holmes. He's been in a few things. I think he's been in a couple TV shows that were
He looked familiar.
mystic TV shows. But
Yeah.
anyway, point is,
So,
so
your three.
it had a bunch of good actors in it. I love Gary Oldman. Pretty much anything he's in, and really he's an overactor a lot of times. But that's what he's there for.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like when you watch
Jack Nicholson.
No, I was going to say. See, now I'm going to go blank on his name because he's the best actor in the whole world. From
Serenity. No.
Matt Dillon? No, I don't
No.
know.
Why am I going blank on this
Just
guy's name?
name a movie. We'll get
Nathan
it. We'll
Fillion?
figure it out.
No, that's what I'm trying to think of. All right, he was in the latest Dracula movie. He was in
The Renfield one?
Renfield. He was in,
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
God
Jesus.
damn it.
I thought you were talking about the Renfield guy. I'm like,
Oh my God, I couldn't think of Nicolas
which
Cage.
I didn't realize this.
There was
he
a lot of
he was
shoe
in
leather
Warm
on that.
Bodies. but
He was in
anyway.
Warm Bodies.
Yeah,
Pretty
anyway.
much the same
I was
character.
thinking, I'm like,
It was
why
pretty
have I
much
seen
the
this?
same character.
Anyway, we'll get to that
Anyway.
movie at some point.
It's kind of like Nicolas Cage. It's kind of like watching that. He's an overactor.
But he
he's
knows
very,
acting, right?
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
But Gary
But
Oldman,
Gary Oldman is
good.
an Oscar-winning actor.
Yeah.
He is an Oscar-winning
Nicolas
actor.
Cage should be up there.
But I guess
He did win
He
something.
did win
yeah.
for
Leaving Las
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah.
So, and the other reason I give it good points is because it did have some top actors in it giving good performances. I thought the storyline could have been better, but it was still entertaining to me. I still got into it. I love the period pieces. I love when it's they really sank it. This is probably around the 1300s, and they sank into that, and it was really well done. I thought they did that very well. I didn't care for the Twilight aspect. I mean, I only gave it a 3. I didn't really beef it up, but I love the wolf. I love the action of the wolf. I love the whole thing that, without giving away too much. Well, we spoil this anyway, so. Whoa!
Yeah, see, they're spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
They're letting you know
Spoiler
you
alarm.
can't spoil it.
No swearing, people.
But it's knowing who it is. I like that it was a mystery, that you didn't know who it was. Everybody thinks it's the grandma because what big teeth you have, what big eyes you have. That was entertaining to me. I got a kick out of that. Is this the greatest movie ever? No, come on. It was only a 3. The storyline fell apart. It was held together with string. But I liked it. I like werewolf movies. I like period pieces. I like Amanda Seyfried. That's it.
All right, so I'm going to go the opposite end of the spectrum here. You mentioned period pieces. I don't think any of the women in this movie had a period. Because they were either knocked up by some
Wow.
guy they weren't supposed to be with,
Yeah.
or they wanted to be knocked up by some guy that they weren't supposed to be with. And even this siren
police
is
sirens
warning
are
you,
telling
don't
you that.
watch this
Yeah.
fucking movie. I gave it a 1. I was literally bored out of my fucking mind during this
Wow.
movie. I was just waiting, and I'm thinking to myself, Winnie the Pooh was an hour and 23 minutes. This was an hour and 40 minutes. And within the first probably 40 minutes, I was like, 30, 40 minutes, I was like, Jesus, will you just end like these sirens? But
How many fucking squad
Jesus.
cars are
So
going
we're in
past?
downtown St. Charles. Oh, where are we at?
228 West Main Street, Ghoulish Models.
Anyway,
Jesus
so
But
but
bottom line is St. Charles is very safe.
Yeah, there's only like been like
it's just one road to
13
get to
fucking
it.
squad
there's
cars.
nothing going on, and so whenever there is one thing that
Can you
goes
hear
on,
that?
They send
Can you
everybody.
hear that?
everyone.
No,
goes.
but and they're
Oh
sending
my
all these people to
God.
tell them to stop making movies like Red Riding Hood. No, I that was one of the things when when we said we were going to watch this movie. I'm looking at the cast list. I'm going, oh, all right,
Yeah.
okay, this should
Yeah.
be pretty good.
Right.
But when I'm looking at this movie, and this drives me nuts because I know people that make movies, and one of the things I keep telling people that make these movies is make clothes dirtier. For fuck's sake.
Oh, sure.
All of them were wearing fucking look
Well
like brand new
pressed.
clothes. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I get-
you're
yeah, I'm
in the
with you.
fucking
I'm with you.
1500s. You've
I'm
probably
with you.
been wearing that for a week. Just
I'm with
put
you.
it on and go to bed in it and get up the next morning and wear it. For fuck's
yeah,
sake.
yeah. And it's
God.
always the classic thing of like everyone seems to have like perfect hair and perfect teeth.
Yes, I'm like,
It's-
yeah.
it's like
Get-
they all
have her
like-
missing a tooth or something. I don't care if it's
you
Amanda
ever-
Seyfried. Is it Seyfried?
Did you-
How do you?
I think
Seyfried?
Seyfried?
I don't know. Seyfried? I don't know. Whatever.
Seyfried. So
Seyfried, Seyfried and Roy. Anyway,
think
but yeah,
Seyfried.
I just honestly, this was a movie that, I honestly was pissed. Like by the end of this movie, I'm like, for just fucking ends. Like, they kept trying to throw in twists, and it just. Now, to give it credit, the wolf was good. The CGI for the
Yeah, I
wolf
thought
was
the wolf
good.
was pretty
They
good.
did a really good job of trying to kind of hide it that they had to, But I just the twists they tried too hard to hide the twist. They tried too hard to make you go one way versus the other. I'm like, let it fucking happen organically.
Amanda
Stop.
Seyfried, by
Is
the
it
way.
Seyfried? Okay, there we go. I would like to pronounce her name right because
where does it
she
say
did a good job.
Right there.
But her
Right, but you're just doing it based on on the
Yeah,
letters.
because I thought the whole thing was the question was it Siegfried or
No,
Seyfried?
no,
Say-
it's-
safe.
but it's- I think it's
I say
You think it's
fried.
pronounced differently?
Get it?
Sa-
Seyfried.
Seyfried.
Anyway,
Seyfried,
I believe it's Seyfried.
not Seyfried.
I think it's Seyfried.
Seyfried.
Yeah, but
Amanda, give us a call.
yeah,
Make a comment down
Help
below.
us
Give
fix
us the
this
proper
issue.
pronunciation. of your
But
name.
it was just, oh my god! As you can tell, I'm getting worked up because I was so mad watching this movie.
Aw.
Like it just did not. They had a good idea, and they did a decent job, but it just felt so forced and so formulaic, and it just as formulaic as the Winnie the Pooh Honey Blood and Honey was. This one was just.
Well,
It's like they literally made it and checked boxes as they went
I
along.
will
Yep.
say that
Oh, wait, we got to
the
put a
blood
twist
and-
in here. We got to.
The Blood and Honey was formulaic in the fact that they needed to. It was formulated to be a slasher movie, not a Winnie the Pooh movie.
Yeah.
Right.
This was formulated to be a mystery whodunit, not a horror movie.
But so
And I'm not saying it was done properly. I think the storyline was pretty weak, but
So and I think this is perfect that I'm between you guys because it's
is this
like-
a Warwick
Those aren't
sandwich?
pillows.
those are pillows. because I agree.
Write in the
with what you're
comments
saying.
what that movie's from. We know the movie.
When I
Yeah, I need more of this.
when obviously I knew the two movies that we were
Pass
going
that down
to
to him.
when
Pass
I
that down to my brother down there.
when I knew the two movies that we were going to be watching, I was fully expecting me to hate Winnie the Pooh and love this movie.
Yep. Or at least like it, right?
Right. Somewhere in there. Because look, I'll be honest, I watched the Twilight movies and
I've never seen a Twilight movie.
I read the books before I watched the movie.
Are you actually a 14-year-old girl?
I am.
I knew it. I knew it.
He was at one point.
At one point,
Warwicka. Warwicka.
I transitioned.
Warwicka. Like there's the feminine of Warwick. Warwicka.
I tried.
God. Anyway, but so that's why I was surprised the fact that I
Warwicka.
as bad as Winnie the Pooh was, I preferred Winnie the Pooh to this movie.
Thank you.
Totally
agree.
Because for all the things you said, I mean, I think this was such a CW show, such just like a teen rom-com. Well, not the
Do you know the budget on this?
Yes. I
Sorry.
did, but it was on my
Smudged off.
Um,
It was fairly up there.
It was
I
like
think.
$30 or $40 million.
Yeah.
And I think it made about $70 million domestically.
Great.
42 million.
Wow.
Was
and
the
probably
budget.
20 of that went to Gary Oldman.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's quite that expensive. But I think there were elements in this movie that I thought were kind of cool. But just it's the I know this was like the time, but just it's like you have like the whole Witchfinder general guy that comes in and is trying to find the evil person.
Yeah, you didn't like that?
I don't know. Just it was
Gary
so like,
Oldman as a priest slash Wolfman Hunter.
who
Come on.
had a wife
And
he had to
children
kill himself.
and killed the wife.
Doesn't that show the hypocrisy of religion, though? I mean, that was sort of the commentary that was being made there.
Well, right, of course, but I mean, it just, there was just so many things, and you're right about the whole clothing. I mean, just it's that whole thing of, if you're, what do we say, 13th century or 15th century, whatever it is,
Right.
you're in filth most of the time,
Yep.
and they all look like they just came out of
Can-
central casting.
Yeah.
Can I mention that, knowing that myself, thinking about the exact same thing, how their clothes were kind of clean and pressed, and yet it's the 13-ish hundreds, whatever, and they were basically living in filth all the time. When they had the love scene near the end, I kept thinking to myself,
I got theories.
God, that's gotta stink.
Oh, absolutely.
That's got to be them two rubbing together. It's got to create some big fly mecca of
I honestly
filth.
wanted to bring this up. What the fuck, man? You've got an entire building less than 30 feet from where the fuck you are,
And they're doing
just
that-
because you don't want to fuck in front of your dead father.
Hey.
But you walk outside
Hey.
and it's snowing.
Yeah.
That poor guy. I don't know how hard he was, but Jesus Christ, like it was probably fucking
Listen,
a pin.
you live in a
pin.
village of 17 people.
Yeah.
You're gonna you find some. You go for it. That's all.
That's-
and
but still-
you do it outside so the stench has a place to dissipate.
Oh my
Well,
God.
But it's so funny. The 17 people was another thing. It is the whole thing of like, okay, the village was not that big.
Nope.
You knew that someone in that village was the werewolf, how hard would it really be to keep all of those people in one place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Until
one time,
until the moon
until the moon
came out, and then she, he's turning.
He's
Kill him.
turning right there.
Quick, get the silver bullets
He
ready.
looks like a hairy fucker.
Yeah,
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Get
just-
an arrow.
And it's like, so I didn't quite get the fact that, so obviously the grandmother knew about the curse, but we didn't know that the mother knew about the curse. All we know.
Well, that was the red herring, because that's when what ears you've got, big ears you got, and they made them sort of pointed, so it kind of looked like she could have been a wolf.
Right, but I guess my point being the fact that it's like when
was
the
a red
whole,
herring,
when the whole
obvious
town
red herring.
is scared about this wolf and is putting offerings out for this wolf.
Are you
It's
saying
like,
wharf or wolf?
wolf.
You need some more.
Wharf?
You need some more wharf point.
Yes.
Is what you
wharf.
need.
Wharf point.
But it's like I just have a hard time believing that family wouldn't have just said, "Oh, we should probably move away."
Well, and then oh my god,
Where they
yeah,
gonna
and then
feed
on
you?
top of that,
I don't know.
so the guy says,
I don't
"I'm
know.
gonna leave." After we just got done, so okay, we're gonna go back to the banging session. So that's what I got so frustrated with, but I was happy because I did like that little twist of it was so let's let people know what the fuck's going on. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so I'm giving away the movie here. Fuck it.
Give up.
The father of Amanda Seyfried, his name's Billy Burke. I don't know what the hell his name was in the damn movie. He
was somebody.
Caesar.
Oh, well. Anyway, he is actually the wolf.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I already said that. He kills his daughter
Burke, yeah.
because he figures out that's not actually his daughter, and then kills the guy that he
Is the
figures out
father.
his wife banged yet again. So I want to change the name of this movie from Red Riding Hood to Red Riding Whore. But
Ooh,
anyway,
I'd go for that.
And so
But then
then
we need
he
more
kills
Amanda.
he kills the guy that banged
Naked.
his wife, then realizes his daughter, so that made me a little weirded out because it's like, okay, the dad was like, yeah, follow me. It was like, what the fuck? Like, I was hoping it was the guy that was her friend in the beginning because then I'm like, it seemed kind of sexual the way he was like, yeah, follow me, and I'm like,
Right.
and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's your dad, and he's like, yeah, like if he'd have been like, just follow me, this is, it's okay, but it was like more like, I can take you places, it just fucking creeped me out a little bit. So anyway,
Okay.
so then we get back to the sex scene. She fucking cuts him earlier. Because she thinks her boyfriend, or her guy friend, is the wolf,
Peter.
which she couldn't fucking make up her damn mind. 1 minute it's like, well, Peter I think is the wolf, so I kind of like the guy that wants to marry me, and he's a blacksmith, so he's more rich than the other guy. And then she meets up with her boyfriend and then goes, I'm going to cut you, and she cuts him. And then while they're about to bang, she feels the scar, like, hey, look what I fucking did to you. And the guy just lets her just bang it. Man, I don't know. As you can tell, I'm worked up about
by
this.
that time, he was bitten by the dad, so he was getting the vampire blood through him, which
Vampire?
healed-
Wolf
I'm sorry,
blood.
Wolfman.
But so is that true, though?
The
Siberian
Wolfman.
Yes.
the Siberian blood.
He started to heal already because he had.
You think okay? Because they did show it
Werewolf
as like
blood.
a scar, but I'm like, man, like he wasn't
started
even
to
mad
heal.
that the bitch
That
cut
was
him.
the whole point of showing that, is because they were showing you that he is now a vampire, werewolf. God damn.
but
He's
you-
a Dracula. He's a
You're good.
Frankenstein.
But you hit on a point
He's a mummy.
that I meant to bring up is the fact that it's like, so when her dad's the wolf, he's talking about like, hey, come away with me, and nothing will happen to the town. He couldn't have had that same conversation when he wasn't a wolf.
Yeah, like hey, I got something to tell you. Come with
But-
me. Now,
but he did
okay,
that
well,
to
in
see
his
who
defense,
could talk back
exactly
to
in
him.
his defense, that he was trying to
Because
see who his
he
actual
did that with his eldest daughter. She didn't hear him. That's how he finalized in his mind that this wasn't his real
Yeah, maybe
daughter.
the first time.
And then got rid of him. But their second daughter did understand him as a wolf.
No.
And it became their mode of communication.
Right, but what I'm
the
sa-
friend
what I'm
was
saying-
the worst actress out of this
There
entire
was a
movie.
couple. There was
She's
a
like,
couple that were
don't
bad.
take my brother. And I'm
There-
like,
there
fuck,
was-
man,
have-
everybody else is doing their greatest, and you're
Yeah.
sitting here going like,
I
oh.
have these 3 dirty coins.
Yeah,
that
and
I
then
can give
and
you.
then by the way, I know you're a priest, but you want some of this? And then
I have other things to offer you.
And notice the priest still went for it.
he's like,
Yes.
I washed today.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the point. That's
No,
the point.
I washed last week.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty clean.
Yeah.
There was a few people that were horrible actors.
Oh,
in this.
my God.
There's no doubt. And like I said, I don't think this is Gary Oldman's best performance either. But he was still pretty cool.
He still did a
He
good
was
job, and so did
entertaining.
Amanda.
Amanda was
Seyfried.
beautiful as always. I didn't care for the lead. What's his name? I didn't like
Shiloh.
Lucas's Haas character at
Yeah,
all. He was
Shiloh Fernando.
Shiloh.
The other guy was his like Max something or other, the
Shiloh.
actual guy's name.
I didn't like
Um,
Shiloh.
Max Irons. Jeremy,
Yeah.
Jeremy
Jeremy
Irons'
Irons.
son.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it?
Max.
Okay, he did kind of have a little hint of something, but
Yeah,
he
he
was
was the British-
just
he was the British one.
he started off bad, but then sort
Oh, I
of by
didn't
the
think
end
he
of
was
it, I
that bad.
kind of got a
Yeah, I
vibe.
didn't
I'm like,
think he was
okay,
bad.
he's actually.
I thought
you
he
know,
was okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did okay. I think he just
Yeah.
started off a little rocky. but-
Bottom line, I don't think this was this is not a Kenny Moore. In fact, honestly, when this movie came out, it was not well received.
No.
It was actually panned because of its bad storyline.
What's it got for a Rotten Tomato score?
Let's check.
I'll tell you
I
right
think
now, it's 10%.
10%.
10%. And you know what? You know what? Honey, Jesus fucking Christ, Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh had
Like 35.
5%.
Oh, really?
Had a 5% yeah, yes.
Really?
Now, granted, they are on the separate scales, like you were
Absolutely.
saying, where it's like you've got a horror slasher versus a timepiece.
And
a time
I'll take it
period.
one step beyond that. The Little Red Riding Hood, who tried to be serious, Blood and Honey was
Yeah,
nowhere
they
near
didn't
trying
care.
to be serious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's funny. As I was watching Red Riding Hood, I actually questioned, like, this isn't really a horror movie.
Yeah,
You know, I
No.
mean,
right,
it's,
right,
it's
right.
like, yes,
They
it
did-
has a werewolf.
Yeah,
in
they.
it, but-
It's
And I
werewolf.
thought that's
It's a
where they were
werewolf, so
gonna
that's
they
horror.
were gonna have the
little bit more of the
horror was
kills.
that the kills were gonna be more brutal, or
There
they
were
were gonna
decent kills. There
They
were
did some
decent.
decent kills.
Not
I mean, they
epic
showed the
kills,
strength
but
of the wolf and things like that. So I thought they did a good job on that in that sense. But you could have taken this so much further. I felt like. And
They limited their scope by keeping it such one town that, like we said, had 17 people or whatever, and that
well,
was the
did they
whole
one
scope of
town though?
this.
Because he did say he tried to go into the city, so to speak, and he just that's what was weird to me because then he came back.
Yeah, I mean,
because of his.
I,
Wait,
I,
who,
I
the
also
priest?
think,
The dad.
yeah, the
the
dad.
original
that's
wolf.
because that's his daughter's back there. He's trying to continue the bloodline.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's one of these things where, as a director, you're trying to keep within a certain, because I think this came out as a PG-13.
Well, that's a problem.
Yes, it did.
So, in other words, it's,
Well, that explains a lot. Then.
yeah, I mean, it's
It is a-
and
it is a
that's
rom.
that's what Catherine Hardwicke's. I mean, like
That's her
that's her
niche.
wheelhouse.
Yeah,
Plus, Virginia
yeah.
Madsen was
Yeah,
in it
yeah,
too,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
In
funny,
fact-
you don't hear a lot from her anymore
no.
Oh, wow.
because she's dead.
Yeah.
So-
Wow.
Bad
Did the
taste.
wolf get her?
I think so.
But I will say this. It was not well received because of the storyline and everything like that. It wasn't a stellar. They liked the performances of.
So you're just being generous with your 3, is what you're saying.
I'm average. I look at the IMDb rating and it's 5.5 out of 10.
Okay, so
And
that's what
pretty
you're basing
similar
it
to
on?
what no. But I'm just saying mine is sort of in line with that.
No, you gave it a 3. If you gave it a
It was a
2.5,
good
I'd say you're
movie.
halfway there.
It was a good movie. It wasn't a great movie.
It was not.
But it was.
It
I thought
wasn't
it was
good.
I
I
would
honestly
call it
don't
a
feel like you
decent
should waste
movie.
your
I
time
would
on
call
this.
it a decent movie.
I don't ever need to watch this movie ever
Exactly.
again.
Yeah. There was nothing that would bring me back to
So-
go, hey, let me see that again. Nothing.
Let me throw this at you. Seeing as how
Jesus.
we're already at the 47-minute mark, and this movie probably doesn't deserve a full hour.
Unless it's me bitching.
There was more to the story than just the Little Red Riding Hood. Did anybody remember? What the fuck is that grunt for?
Because you're trying to save a shitty movie.
It is. Because I thought it was decent. I'm not trying to say it was great. I'm not going to watch it again. Once was enough. But actually, I did watch this once before, so twice.
Yeah,
But this was not just
Fap
a Little
session.
Red Riding Hood story. What was the name of the love interest?
What was his name
Oh,
in the...
Peter and the Wolf.
Peter. And there was a story, Peter and the Wolf. They tied Peter and the Wolf story into this story.
Right.
So they actually were telling Little
Felt
Red
like
Riding
while I
Hood
was watching this, I felt like a Peter
and
in my
Peter
wolf.
and the what?
I don't know.
Okay, so we are very close to
Peter
the
and my
time that,
wolf?
that we're trying to limit.
But-
So
But that gave it some depth to me. That helped it
Yeah.
out a little bit.
I read that.
Yeah,
as
it needs
well,
to
and
go
I was
into the
like-
depths of the ocean and never
Peter-
come back.
So
Wow.
one interesting
Wow.
thing.
Jesus.
Go ahead.
One interesting thing.
You just wanted
Sorry, I need to look at that one over there. So one interesting thing.
Yeah,
so
we're telling people, no,
Wh-
we're
which-
shaking our
which-
heads.
which I'm sure no one paid any attention to, because you're just trying to forget this movie. is they made every single person in the movie wear, if they didn't already have brown eyes, they had to wear brown contacts.
Correct.
And that
Because the
was
grandmother was known for being
like
such
really
piercing blue eyes,
yeah,
right?
piercing blue eyes, and so that was to make it so that you didn't know which one was the. And that was the
So
most,
this
that,
movie.
That was literally, by the way,
That's
that
true.
was literally the most interesting trivia that's.
I was gonna say
read.
the only brown eye I got from this is I
Oh,
got
here
pink
we
eye
go.
from it.
I knew it. I knew this
from
was
watching
coming.
this movie.
I knew this was coming.
No,
As soon as you said brown eye, I'm like, wow.
So let's do some quick
Wow.
trivia
Let's
questions.
do
go for
quick
it.
trivia.
All right, this is I'm just gonna ask like a couple just to be for fun.
Yeah.
Because
I
let's
did
do
have
it.
a few.
You do? Oh, okay.
No,
I will
no,
let you
no.
go. Oh.
I would say
Don't-
I did have a
We
few.
don't have to do all of them.
No.
But somehow I lost the file that had all the other ones on.
Excellent.
Oh, okay.
Good.
So I remember one.
Good.
Okay.
Logan.
We'll do a simple one. What was the name of the town?
I know it.
Ooh.
I know it without even looking. Because I thought it was a very interesting name.
Yeah.
Wolfville.
Wolf Point. No. Sorry, incorrect.
Daggerhorn.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
remember that now.
They do mention it a couple times.
What a great name for a medieval town.
Yeah,
Daggerhorn.
Which is funny because, like, if you think about how names come about, that's because in theory there's a mountain somewhere, because that's the horn part of it.
Oh, I see where you're going with this now.
Should've
And
called
the
it dagger
'cause
whore,
they
apparently.
need to have daggers to defend themselves from the wolf.
I think so. I don't know.
She did have a dagger.
She did
Logan.
by her leg.
Another.
Yes.
That was-
Okay,
that was
so-
that was one of the few good parts in the movie.
This is
Was
this
her
is a
leg?
fairly decent
Yes.
one. What were the first words of the wolf?
Howl.
Human words.
Oh, sorry.
Chicago.
You can't escape me.
Really?
Yes, the very first words.
That's good. I like that.
There you go. So I'll let you do yours.
I only have one, and it's from memory. When Gary Oldman's character first comes and has this like very elaborate display of showing what the blood moon is, there are how many planets displayed, and clear delineation between planets and moons.
Yeah.
He didn't have the moons on there, did he?
He had
Yeah,
moons
he
on
did
there.
have
Moon on
smaller
there?
moons on there. I'm
This
gonna
is
guess
1300s. No, there were more than that.
4. Not including the moons, but I was gonna guess 4.
Not including the moon,
Not-
and not including the sun.
I would say 6.
I was guessing 4.
There were 3.
3. Okay.
Because again, you got to remember it's like whatever between.
Yeah, they-
Really
you know,
medieval times.
At
There's
that
no
at
way I
that point,
knew
they should have
that.
not even had the sun. They should have
Right.
had the Earth, everything revolving around the
Flat-
Earth, probably.
Right,
but-
right.
Flat
right,
earthers.
Right.
That was
Anyway.
literally the only question that I remember.
Okay,
I had
that was a good one. I saw that and I go, ooh.
Oh
shit.
no, I do have
Ooh.
I have one more that I
Okay.
remember, and it's super easy,
Okay.
but we like sometimes super easy ones. On the church door, there are 2 characters shown on the church door. What are the 2 characters?
One is a wolf, and I'll let you. What's the other?
The other was a maiden, wasn't it?
I would go further and say it's an angel.
Yeah.
Oh, angel. Okay.
So I've got one. What was the license plate on the? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I
was
thought about
ready
that.
to go.
I
I'm like,
thought about that.
wait
I
a
was
minute.
like, there's no license
was the
plate
carriage?
in this fucking movie. That's why I hate it.
Yeah,
No,
good.
no, no. But when he pulled up,
I slow mo through the whole thing trying to find it.
I watched that whole scene when the fucking Gary Oldman's carriage
Carriage
pulls
came
up.
in.
I'm like, come on. So I could ask the question, what was on the door of his carriage? It's a very simple one if you think about it.
Was it a cross?
It was a cross.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a. I
So,
thought you were talking like
there
it
you
was
go.
a
But I was
saying
like,
or something.
man, I wish there was something on there that just had like numbers or some shit
I-
on there. That
okay,
would have been hilarious.
and there is another perfect example of how ridiculous this movie is. So he's traveled a fair distance, but that carriage was pretty damn clean.
yeah.
It's like
Well, he traveled over the paved roads to get there.
it's the 1300s.
And I love how he like gets out,
I-
and his kids are like, "No, don't go, father." And it's
Yeah,
like,
what they were
wouldn't
in
have
there with
fucking
him the
said
whole
that?
time.
Like,
They
yeah.
could have said that the first 20 years to
Yeah.
get to the spot
Yeah.
that
Well,
they were
and
at.
You killed our mother.
Right.
And was he just keeping the kids in the carriage?
Right.
Because you never saw him
Well,
again.
they went home.
Oh, did they?
He
left?
stayed and
Okay.
everybody left.
Yeah, they
Oh,
just
they
left
went
the
home.
giant fucking elephant.
Right. Well, that was his torture device. That was his
Yeah.
Iron Maiden.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know what that actually originally came from?
Trojan horse reference, or is it more of an
was
Iron
actually
Maiden reference?
originally they used to do a bull. in Roman times, and
Yeah.
they would
But
put
that
the
was
person
Roman.
in there.
This is way this.
I know, but
But,
they had the,
okay, so I have a problem with the fact there was a fucking elephant. Again, it's the 1300s.
Yeah.
They could have made that a small. They could have made it a wolf because technically people are going to go inside of the thing. It's howling.
But
right?
the point is, at least if it was like a bull, that is an animal that they are used to seeing.
Yeah.
It's like I think most people would probably be fucking scared of seeing an elephant. Like, what the fuck's that thing?
Yeah.
What's up with that nose thing?
It was just a visual
Yeah.
enticement to a torture device that they made an elephant. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I agree.
Yeah, just like the rest of the movie.
So I have one trivia question
All
I'm
right.
just thinking about now.
Let's go.
I mentioned, we know that this is Little Red Riding Hood. We mentioned that there was Peter the Wolf, or Peter and the Wolf, in this as well. There was a third children's story referenced in this movie. What was it?
Dumpty.
It was not Humpty Dumpty.
Let's see if I had to guess.
It was during the festival when they were celebrating killing the wolf that they thought
actually,
was
I
the
do
wolf.
have another question.
But this is my question,
That just shows how important you're.
Mr. Price.
So, what was the question again?
Oh my God!
I'm assuming I'm going to go with Safety Dance.
There was a third children's story
children's story.
referenced in this movie, other than Peter and the Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh God, I should probably know this, but I don't.
Little Mermaid.
Jesus fucking Logan.
I don't know honestly.
During the celebration, there were people dressed up as pigs.
Shit,
and a
three little
wolf
pigs. Fuck.
blew them down,
Yep, he
and
came
they
up and he
referenced,
actually said, "I'll huff and
"I'll
puff."
huff and
I
I'll
remember
puff
that.
and I'll blow
I knew
your
it.
house down."
Well, that's also ridiculous because that's a Hans Christian Andersen.
Doesn't matter.
That was a good one. I'll give you props for
The
that.
point is,
that
it
was
was
better
a
than this
third
movie.
children's story referenced in the same movie, and this was the whole point of this podcast.
It's true.
Is the children's stories turned into horror movies, and they did 3 in 1.
I have one more story, one more trivia for you. In that very same celebration,
Yeah.
one of the very first scenes when you see them, that there's music playing, and there's a character playing a medieval instrument. Do you know what that medieval instrument is called?
During the celebration, there were a
Yeah.
couple instruments. I'm trying to figure out which one.
It's
It
kind
was
of
a string instrument or a guitar type instrument.
I think technically it's probably the guitar type instrument is the one I'm
Okay.
referring to.
Because they had drum, they had
I'm going to say
xylophone
harpsichord,
kind of
but
thing.
I don't think that's. I think that's more of a piano one, but.
I'm going to say, well, it wasn't a zither.
No, it's kind of really it's an early precursor to. Actually, no, not
Like
really.
a banjo?
The accordion, but it's had similar kind of.
Are you making this shit up as you go along?
No,
Okay.
It
What is it?
it's called the hurdy-gurdy.
Oh.
Now you're making that shit up.
No. So basically, it's actually a really cool instrument.
Hurdy-gurdy was what we call this one ugly chick in high school.
Really?
No.
Oh my God.
But basically,
Wow.
it's actually a string instrument.
Okay.
But they didn't call it hurdy-gurdy back then.
But that's what it was called. It was called the hurdy-gurdy. It's a medieval.
Okay.
instrument.
Wow.
The
All right,
basic,
I'm looking at-
ba-
I'm
basic,
fact-checking you. bitch.
basically, you had a wheel on the side that that you rotated around.
How do you
and
spell hurdy?
HURDY GURDY.
Okay.
Hurdy-gurdy. That thing, right?
No
I remember
shit.
seeing that thing. Yeah.
And so the third one in that's the what.
Dun, dun,
exactly.
dun,
This one.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Right.
No
and
shit.
so basically you rotate the wheel, and there's 3 strings that go across the top, and then there's 2 strings that go either side of it, and it's effectively like a violin. And then the keys that are on the front of it, basically like a guitar, press against the string or not.
So the thing you're spinning is what's actually like strumming for you?
Correct.
Okay.
If we had time and energy and resources to edit our films, we would put a cut of that hurdy-gurdy
Yeah,
in
just
this.
look it up.
But
Look it
we're
up.
lazy.
You could
Just
do a
Google
Google
that
images
shit.
and you'll
It's
find
Just
it.
Google
cool.
it.
I just love the name hurdy-gurdy.
Hurdy-gurdy. Yeah,
There's a movie called
Hurdy-gurdy
Hurly
Man.
Burly.
There's a Hurdy-Gurdy
I
Man
think that's
horror
different.
movie.
Yeah, it's a little.
Isn't there a horror movie called Hurdy-Gurdy Man?
Hurdy-gurdy man?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
a.
I thought-
I swear to
not-
God.
not like
That's
hurdy-gurdy
got to be on our.
man.
That's got to be
No.
on our list now. Oh my God,
It's like-
that'd be
it's like
hilarious if there
hurdy-gurdy
was.
man.
The Hurdy-Gurdy Man.
What the fuck?
There you go.
Son of a-
2018, there's a short movie
Well,
on it.
shit. Now we've got to fucking review
Yeah,
that.
and then there was a Diary of the Hurdy-Gurdy Man in 96, 99,
Diary?
sorry.
Butthole surfers?
No, that's a Butthole Surfers. That was a song.
Marky
It's a
got
punk
with
band.
Sharon. Sharon got Sharia. She was Sharon's Outlook. Yeah.
You are a fan of the
topic of
Butthole
belief.
Surfers.
Topic of disease.
Topic
Woo!
of disease.
Very
Like
nice.
he had a
Okay.
face
Anyway,
scar
we should be
about he
done.
was a racist.
There's
Yeah,
another
we're
one,
gonna
by
end
the way,
it.
that was in
we got
1985.
25 seconds to end it before an hour.
65. Okay. Anything else? Nope.
No.
Great.
Nope.
Thanks.
Thank
we
you,
love
everyone.
Don't
Don't
watch
watch
this
this
movie.
movie.
Save yourself an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay
But-
if you like
but
vampire or werewolves.
Have
But
this,
Wolf Point.
have this
Wolf
whiskey.
Point.
Yes.
It's definitely growing on me.
If you can
I'm
find
digging
barrel
it. I'm
194,
digging
we said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
194.
Only get the 194. The
Yeah,
rest.
we haven't tried the others, so this is for barrel 194.
All right, give me a pause. We'll switch cameras. And then we'll go back. And then
Rawr.
we'll say, look at the social media.
Look at the social media.
And
Yeah.
then we're out. Done. Wipe it.
Swipe.